Many years ago, there lived a father, mother, and their dear little girl. There was not a happier family in all the islands of Japan. They took their little daughter to the temple when she was just 30 days old. She wore a long kimono, as all the Japanese babies do. On her first doll festival, her parents gave her a set of dolls. There was no finer set anywhere. Her dolls had long, black hair, silky and smooth, and were clad in gowns of satin and silk. Her third birthday was a happy day. Her first sash of scarlet and gold was tied around her small waist. When that happened, she was no longer their baby daughter. She was their little girl who was growing up really fast. By the time she was 7, she was helping her parents in many ways. She could talk and dance and sing, and oh, her parents loved her dearly. One day, a messenger brought exciting news. The emperor had sent for the father. He had to go to the Tokyo at once. Tokyo was a long way off, and the roads were rough. The father would have to walk every step of the way, for he had no horse. There were no railways or even jinrikishas to travel on. The little girl was glad her father was going to Tokyo. She knew that when he comes back, he would tell her many interesting stories. She knew that he would bring her presents too. The mother was happy because the father had been sent for by the emperor. This was a great honor. At last, all was ready. The father looked very fine as he started out on the long trip. He was going to meet the emperor, so he dressed himself in the fine robes of silk and satin. The little family stood on the porch of the little house to bid him goodbye. "Do not worry, I will come back soon," said the father. "While I'm away, take care of everything. Keep our little daughter safe." "Yes, we shall be alright, but you must take care of yourself. Come back soon as you can," said the mother. The little girl ran to his side. She caught hold of his sleeve to keep him for a moment. "Father," she said, "I will be very good while waiting for you to come back." Then he was gone. He went quickly down to the little garden and out through the gate. There, they could see him go down the road. He looked smaller as he went farther away. Then all they could see of him was his big hat. Soon, that was out of sight too. The days seemed very long for the mother and the little girl. Many times each day, they would pray for the good father. They prayed for a safe journey. The days passed by, and one morning, the little girl saw someone coming from the mountains. She ran to tell her mother. Could that be her father? They both went to the garden gate to watch. As he came nearer, they knew it was the father. They both ran to meet him, the little girl on one side, and the mother on the other. They were all happy again. As soon as they went into the house, the little girl ran to untie the father's straw sandals. The mother lovingly took off his large straw hat. Then they all sat down on the white mat, for the father had brought some presents. There in a bamboo basket was a beautiful doll and a box full of cakes. "Here," he said to the little girl, "is a present for you. It is a prize for taking care of mother and the house while I was away." "Thank you, father dear," said the little girl. Then she bowed her head to the ground. In an instant, she had picked up her lovely new doll and had gone to play. Again, the husband looked into the basket. This time, he brought out a square wooden box. It was tied with gaily colored ribbon. He handed it to his wife, saying, "And this is for you, my dear." The wife took the box and opened it carefully. One side had beautifully carved pine trees and storks on it. The other side was bright and shining as smooth as a pool of water. Inside, there was something made of silver. She had never seen so lovely a present. She looked and looked at the pine trees and stork, which almost seemed real. Then she looked closer at the sparkling side. Suddenly, she cried, "I see someone looking at me in this round thing. She is very lovely." Her husband laughed but said nothing. Then the mother's eyes grew big with wonder. "Why, the lady I see has a dress just like mine," she said. "She seems to be talking to me." "My dear," her husband answered, "that is your own face that you see. What I have given you is a mirror. All the ladies in Tokyo have them. If you bring a smiling face in the mirror, you will see a smiling face. If you are cross, you will see an angry face." The wife thanked her husband for the lovely gift. She promised to always bring a happy face to the mirror. She then placed it in the box and put it away. Often, the mother will take out the box and look inside. Each time, she was surprised. She liked to see her eyes shine. She liked to see how red her lips were. She always brought a smiling face to it. Soon, she grew tired of looking in the box and she put it away. She would only open it and look at her face once a year. She decided to save the lovely gift for the little girl when she grew up. The years went by. The little girl grew, turned into a woman, and no longer played with dolls. Instead, each day, she helped her mother about the house. How proud her father was of her. He saw that she was growing more like her mother. Her hair was the same, her mouth was the same. She was very image of her mother. One day, the mother called her daughter and said, "My daughter, I have something to give you. Once each year, you are to look into it." She took the wooden box from the drawer. Carefully, the daughter untied the ribbon. Wondering, she lifted the cover and looked at the mirror. "Why, Mother!" she cried. "It's you! You look just as you used to look when I was a little girl." "Yes, dear," the mother answered. "That is why I look when I was young. Be sure to smile when you look at me, and I will smile back to you." From that day on, the good daughter kept the box near her. Once each year, she would open it. Her mother's words were always true. Always. She saw her mother's face. Oh, the joyful surprise! It was her mother, more beautiful each time that she looked. She seemed to smile at her daughter, and the daughter smiled back at her. The daughter never forgot to bring a smile to the little box every time, and it always smiles back at her.